Today's topic is real property reports, or also called RPRs, or otherwise known as your survey. When selling a home, I always tell people that they should have their survey done before they sell. But most people wait until after they sell. Surveys usually cost around $400 or less if you can just get an update to your current survey. The problem with waiting for your home to sell before you get a survey is that if there is any issues with your survey, it could collapse your sale or cause hardships for you and the buyer at closing. Recently, I had a seller who had a $10,000 holdback of funds from the buyer 3 months after possession. The lawyers were trying to negotiate a settlement for the property to be re-landscaped to the buyer's satisfaction at the cost of the seller. I was not aware of this problem at closing as I was not notified by my seller. My seller felt it was a small detail that would be sorted out by the lawyers, as he was told. In this video, I'm going to explain a little bit about real property reports so that it will help you with your understanding of them and hopefully persuade you to get an update or a new real property report before you have a sale. This will ensure an easy transaction. The purpose of the real property report is to show that placement of the buildings on the lot is to outline legally the property lines, the fences in all buildings and permanent structures. It is important to know that a fence or walkway or driveway is considered landscaping. Your garage, house, shed with a foundation is considered a structure. Most people think that if they made no changes to their property, they don't need to get a new real property report. It's important to know that if your neighbor puts up a fence on his or her side of the property line and it looks to demise a property line or your property line, you must get a new survey or update to your current survey. The new buyer will have to verify that the fence the neighbor built is clearly on their property and not the property that they're purchasing, your property. Here's what they look like. You can see it's on 11 by 17 paper in black and white with some color. This is not to be confused with a land title which describes ownership. Okay, now here, this is a little closer for you to see. It says on the top, Alberta Land Surveyor's Real Property Report. This page is 11 by 17. On the top right here, it says the property address, and it says who it was prepared for, and it gives a legal description, the lot, block, and plan. On the bottom right here, it indicates the survey company who did the survey. This particular survey even has the address of the company and also the phone number. This is really helpful because what you can do here is if you have a real property report and you have this and it doesn't show your fences or some building or renovation you did, you can get your survey updated, and it's about half the cost, and every company has a different price for this, but it's about half the cost of getting a brand new survey. They don't have to plot your house and everything on there. They just need to update. So important number to have if they put it on there. Right here is your compliance stamp from the city. This was done in July 29, 2009, and there's a signature on it. So this particular stamp costs you $75. The city, what they do is, well, first of all, the survey company, they'll prepare the survey, but then you have to run down to the city and wait in line and pay I think it's $75 still, and they will have a look at this report, and if everything complies, they'll put a stamp on it. And that's what the lawyers are looking for. Now here's the drawing part of the report here. This is indicating the property line, and it shows the city property, and it shows the fence, it shows the deck, it shows the patio, it shows the side, these steps here, and shows the concrete driveway, these types of things here. Shows where the property is located, gives the exact distances where the house is in relationship to the property line. Now remember when I said that my client had a real problem with their survey because there was a holdback of $10,000 from the buyer 3 months after they took possession? This was what it was for. There was an encroachment advisory on here that really wasn't solved. Now the problem here was that the surveyor, when they did their update, they put these notes here. It says, note, concrete driveway, walk, patio, wood walk, steps, and fence surveyed May 6, 2009, information updated and the date. Well, what happened was the city official looked at this, and then he looked at what was here, and these items go on top of the utility right-of-way. So utility right-of-way would be electrical wires under the ground, or plumbing, or water, something like that, or a gas line. So you can put landscaping above a real in the utility right-of-way.
Most people do it because it can be easily removed. You can't put a structure over top of a garage or a house over top of a utility right away. So what they had done here is somehow they had determined that these wood steps were an encroachment. So what the lawyers were trying to negotiate was, they were trying to negotiate based on this advisory. What they thought was that the city official thought that this was a notation from the survey company that there was an encroachment, but it wasn't. So in other words, this was really a mistake. When I called in and asked them, I said, why would landscaping be a problem? And they didn't really have an answer for me. They just thought that this was a notation. Now here's a survey where there was a problem. And this is what I noticed, is that you see these big yellow boxes with the red writing in them. Survey companies make it very clear when there's a problem. This one denotes the fact that the wall encroaches into the City of Calgary road allowance by 0.42 meters. So they got a retaining wall that steps outside the boundaries of the property. Now if the city ever wants to make them move this, they would have to move it. But I guess the important thing to remember is if there is a problem with your survey, it's going to be clearly noted, and it may have to be solved. Now it doesn't always have to be solved. Sometimes the buyer will see this, and the lawyers will indicate that this is really not a problem for the new buyer. And if it isn't, and the buyer accepts it, this is no problem. This is the reason why you need to have your survey done in advance. Because disclosure of this after you have a deal is really the wrong time for this problem to arise. But people going into the contract understand and see this before they write an offer, or after writing the offer they can see this. There's no problem on possession day or 10 days before possession. So just an important note, get your survey done, because this can all be solved. Now this one shows where the fences are, it shows everything on here. It's a very deep lot. And this is just a note to say, and this has a lot of stamps. It also has the encroachment advisory on there.
I hope my short video has helped you with land surveys and our real property reports. If you have any more questions regarding this, please ask on my chat or blog areas regarding this video, and I'll be glad to help you with more information. Thanks from Trent Gustus of Keller Williams Realty.